this video, I'm going to do a complete walkthrough of how to apply for an entry-level GS3 wildland fire job. So I'm already logged in. I made a fake profile. And then I just want to show you on the home page. I do a lot of stuff on my webpage, but if you are confused, they do try to make it easy and they have a lot of articles. So telling you have to create a USA Jobs profile. So if you haven't done that, you need to do that. Make your resume, upload it, search for jobs, review the job announcement, prepare your application to USA Jobs, and submit. So we're going to go through all those steps on one job. But if you have questions, you can click on these and it'll take you to some USA Jobs specific stuff. So I have multiple videos on like how to find jobs and what you're looking for, but we'll just do a really quick. So 0456 is the wildland fire. Messed that up. I wanted it to show the job. There we go. 0456 wildland fire management. So now it's being filtered by that. At this time there's 111 jobs, but you're not going to qualify for all of them. So we're going to scroll down and find a GW, which is the general wildland scale. GW3 is what I want to find. So we're just going to click on this one because it's like a pretty wide-ranging job announcement, so I thought this would be a good one to go over. So right now this one is open from 10:15 to 10:29, and it tells you that it's a temporary full-time job and that it's a GW3, which is entry-level firefighter. So I'm not going to get into this job announcement. I have a whole other video about that. I'm just going to show you how to apply. So we'll do that up in the right corner, apply. So I just built a resume that is linked in my website kind of example. So I'm going to upload this one. So it's already in my profile. So I just want to tell USA Jobs to attach this one. So I'm going to save and continue because it's already uploaded. If you wanted to upload a different one, this is where you would do that. So now it just reiterates that is, I've saved that progress, and then if there's another document that it wants me to add, I would look over here in required documents and it would tell me if it needed something else. So examples of things you might put in is a college transcript because you're trying to use college credit to apply to part of your experience. But it'll just go through and tell you what all it needs. And for entry level, it really doesn't need anything besides a resume, but you can always check it right here. So I'm not going to add another document, and save and continue. So right now, this is my package. It is telling me that my resume is attached, and then if I had any other documents here, it would attach that. So now I'm acknowledging that I've reviewed that those are here, and if you're ever curious about how it looks, or if you want to check formatting, you can easily view it right here and see what it looks like. So you're like, okay, great, it's 2 pages, that's what I want. And that's perfect. So save and continue. And then here's up to you if you want to share your demographic details. Mine are already uploaded in my profile settings, so sure, I can share that with USA Jobs. And then it's going to ask you another optional question. How did you hear about this job? You can just say, I searched on the website. Or if you don't care, then you don't have to. Save and continue. And now it's going to send me to the internal Forest Service application system. So I'm just going to certify that, yep, so far everything I've attached is correct and it's mine. And then we're going to continue to the agency site to finish the application. So this is normal. It'll just do that little loading window and eventually pull it up. Okay, so this is my fake profile. I would say your name here, obviously. And it said it retrieved all the information, so everything was uploaded, which is great. And we're going to keep going. So here's just my fake thing that I made. I'm not going to actually submit this so that I don't confuse anyone, but just make sure that everything's spelled right. Make sure that your phone number is correct and your email is correct, because that's how any hiring people are going to be able to interact with you. And especially if it's different than your resume, I would really look at that and make sure they match and that your information is consistent, spelled correctly, there's no weird spaces, because it's going to copy and paste this exactly. So that's really important. Eligibilities. Okay, so you if you're applying for a GS or a GW3 job, I assume you're not currently a USD employee in any way. Maybe you were trails or something, but you're not surplus or displaced. You would know if you were. So just don't get spun up about that. Nope. And then you're not displaced from a different federal agency. I would imagine that no one looking at this video fits those criteria. So just click no on both of those and continue. And then this is where you can go crazy. If you want to work literally anywhere, then I would just be really honest with yourself, look these places up on Google, get an idea of like what the towns are like, and if you would actually want to work there, and then narrow it down to 10 locations, because that is the max you can apply in each job announcement. So let's just say that I just want to work at a few places in New Mexico, so I'll just click a few of those, and then yes, you would accept a temporary appointment because that is what you're applying for. A temp job just means that it is a seasonal job, but you would be working full-time within that season. So if you accept a job that starts in May or something, then you would work a season from May to like October, but you would be full-time within that time frame. So yep. And then I assume no one's in a political appointee here, so I'll just say no on that. And then here is where you can copy and paste from your resume. I should have had mine up so I could do that. So we'll just pull up USA Jobs on a different. So I'm going to go to my resumes and documents and look at my resume that was uploaded. So let's click on that, and then it's going to give me what I have uploaded. Why? Learning lots of things. Okay. Why does it not have my other things in there? Okay. This is where I recommended to other people that they attach a list of their references and had them in a different document if it wasn't attached to their resume. So I'm just gonna make something up. So you would just put 3 references, names, most likely your recent supervisor's name. I'll just make up some phone numbers. But you would obviously want to have this already in a Google form or somewhere else, or your Notes app or something, so you can have that. So I'm just going to copy and paste this because you understand that this is what you would have. So you would just need their phone number, their email, and their name. And they want to see most recent supervisors because you're obviously applying for a job, but if all you have, let's say you're just out of high school and all you have is like some volunteer stuff you did or like a summer job and just some coworkers or like something like that, or a personal reference, that's totally fine. As long as you have 3 references, that's great. Okay, so continue there. And then in assessment 1, so if you're applying for a GW3, you're basically just saying that you have 6 months of any kind of work experience, like I just talked about with references. So maybe you did some stuff with farm and ranch, or you literally just did any work experience, paid or unpaid, like volunteer. That's all it's asking, is have you done any work for 6 months? So you're just going to say, yep. And maybe you were like a structure firefighter volunteer in your community or something, so you can click something like that. Or maybe you have a combination of some work experience and some college credits. So that's where you just have to figure out what makes the most sense to your situation. And then, yep, you understand that you're going to have to be drug tested, so you have to click yes on that. And that you have read the announcement. Yep. Assume you went through that and looked at all the duties and what you would be getting yourself into. And the required documents, yep, we looked at that when we first uploaded our resume. So if you are claiming some education and that you applied using that, you're going to have to put a college transcript in there or some kind of high school transcript showing those forestry credits. So you would just say, yep. And then just that you certify that everything you're saying is correct to the best of your knowledge. So yes. And now it's asking for your resume, which is already attached. So for some reason it's not. In some crazy way, it'll allow you to do that. And then if you want to upload a cover letter, let's say you felt like doing that, you would not have an IQCS master record unless you had already been in a federal service for fire. So don't stress about that. Don't worry about that. And then down here in transcript, like we said, for college. And these would all show up as examples if you had uploaded other documents in that first screen. So they won't go to a particular place until you put them here, but this is how they would show up, is when you put them in that first part we talked about, where we looked at the required documentation, and then you were allowed to upload other documents. So, and then if you're missing them, for some reason it's not showing up, you can always put it down here and then tell it where to go. So we're just brand new to fire. We don't have any other things besides our resume, so we're just going to continue because it's already in there. So now it basically just tells you if you missed anything, and will prompt you to fix it if for some reason you missed a question. So now you just say, yep, I acknowledge that that's everything that I wanted to, and then you would click submit. I'm not going to because I don't want to send it to all these places and have a fake person, but then it would tell you, once you submitted it, it would tell you up here that you submitted it, and it would be green, and it would say that application was submitted, and then that would be all you need to do. So hope this was helpful. Sorry I was a little clunky with the references. Kind of forgot that I deleted them from the resume that I uploaded and recommended people put them in a different document. So that was my bad on that. But there you have it. It's very easy. You don't really have to answer many questions, but don't get tripped up by the first few and by accidentally disqualify yourself.